DMV 250, sponsored by Visit Williamsburg.
So there was a time about 200 years ago that Northern Virginia played a major role in safeguarding our nation's most precious documents. Well, as we celebrate America's 250th birthday this year, we're shining a spotlight on the DMV and its contributions to our country's success. A little-known chapter of the War of 1812 reveals how America's founding documents narrowly escaped destruction, thanks in part to a daring evacuation that ended in Loudoun County.
The Declaration of Independence, today safely housed and heavily guarded. Its home, the National Archives on Constitution Avenue, although it moved around a little bit in the early days of the Republic.
Went to Philly when the government moved there, and then traveled down by boat to Washington, D.C. when the government moved here in 1800.
Not long after the Revolutionary War, British troops were back and closing in on Washington in August of 1814. Most of the elected leaders and residents were leaving town. But from the State Department, Secretary James Monroe was extremely concerned. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights sat dangerously exposed.
So he wrote to the President, James Madison, to say the British were coming, that we were outnumbered, and that P.S. you had better remove the records.
The National Archives didn't exist in 1814. These irreplaceable documents were stored in a government office just miles from the advancing enemy. State Department clerk Stephen Pleasanton and others sprang into action.
They pack them in linen bags, they load them into carts, and they head out of Washington, just in the nick of time, really.
Pleasanton rushed out of Washington with the documents, first to a site near Georgetown, but it wasn't far enough.
They realized that this was not very far away from where munitions were being built, and so he did not want the British to discover them, and so the next day they decided to evacuate them even further up to Leesburg.
That decision would bring the nation's founding papers 30 miles west to an unlikely safe haven, Loudoun County's Rokeby House, an empty estate outside Leesburg where they were hidden in a cellar vault for weeks.
They wind up in a private residence, which is, unprecedented and has not happened again since that point in time.
It would have been devastating to the American people to lose these records.
And if an invading force threatened Washington today or in the future?
No one's getting these documents out of this building.
You can't reveal anything other than that, can you?
I can't reveal to you where and when, but we have some of the most tight security on these records.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Not even Nicolas Cage can take them from us.
Well, that last reference there to the 2004 movie National Treasure, where Nicolas Cage's character famously steals the Declaration of Independence in order to protect it. Kratz says people bring it up constantly there at National Archives. She says it's a fun thing for everyone to discuss. So one thing that also threatened the Declaration after this is they didn't really know much about how to preserve historical artifacts back in the day. So for 35 years, the Declaration of Independence hung in the National Patent Office, taking direct sunlight almost every day. So if you go there to National Archives today and you see it, you will see it's very, very faded. And you can also see other things on it where the document has been damaged over the years. But it's a very low light situation in there. They've got it preserved as good as they can right now.
Interesting. Just fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun story.
DMV 250, sponsored by Visit Williamsburg.